Hello and welcome to my video review on installing a hard drive with a window. Now this is actually a tier list for Fire Emblem Engagement theory, where we go over who the best thieves are. So we have Sus for S tier. Here, I'll do this so it's more clear. Sus, Agarthan, Bartray, Katz, Dorcas, and Ford. So this is based on how good they are. Oh yeah, Amber, that's true. Amber, yeah, A for Amber. Colm tier, yeah, that's actually fitting too. All right, Colm. All right, people are helping me in chat. You can see that on here. All right, people are helping in chat with the names of the tiers. So we have Sus, Amber, Bartray, Colm, Dorcas. Bro got on his YouTube video voice. All right. Okay, so who's good in Thief? First of all, we have All Christ. Is All Christ good in Thief? I would say he's like C. He needs more speed and damage, but he can put in some work. He can do okay. He can do a little bit, right? He did contribute. I did use him in the Thief only run. He contributed. He doubled some things. He was using Emblem Lin. We'll ignore that though. But even without Lin, he's probably like C. Yeah, C for Chad tier. Chad tier. Alir on Thief is pretty sus, actually. Got both of these bulliers over here. These are actually quite good on Thief. They have speed, they have a little bit of strength, which is more than enough for the most part. And Thief Alir kind of carried the run along with a few other units. So we got that. Alfred on Thief, he could be about as good as Alchrist, maybe a little bit better, but his bases are bad. So he's just going to be here. He's not going up. He's not going up. He's not going down. I think he's in Colm tier. Amber. Now, Amber does have decent strength and strength growth. So with speed fixing, he should be in his own tier. Actually, he should be an Amber tier. Thief will help his speed, and Amber will help his strength. He himself will help his strength. He does not need no man. He doesn't need an alpaca, really. He forgoes mounts to become a god in his own tier. All right, Anna. Maybe okay? Probably Dorcas tier, because she's not a physical unit and she does not have strength growth. She does have speed, so maybe with damage fixing. Wait, actually, hold on. With damage fixing, she's fast already. Maybe she is like B at least. The only issue is getting her online in a Thief only run if you don't allow Micaiah spam. So, but if as a Thief in general, you could probably have her popping off a little bit. All right, Boucheron. He's got build, which doesn't really matter on Thief. He does have speed, so he gets speed, but his strength is low. So maybe he's about like similar to Anna, who's just really fast. She's faster than him, and his build doesn't matter here. Boone, I would say is probably an maybe Dorcas tier. Now you have to level him up on Thief to get, like, you probably have to level him up a lot to get past. That's like an issue. But he has strength and his speed is low, so probably not that good. Saline on Thief, probably around here, I would say. She's not really that fast. She does have decent speed. Actually, maybe she is closer to Anna. She does have good speed. She could be good on Steel Dagger. Chloe on Thief is actually really cracked, and I can confirm that. She can tank very well because of her high health and her good res and speed. So she doesn't get doubled. She doubles almost everything. She has enough strength to deal damage, and I threw her on Ike in my run, and she completely like soloed half of the map while my team fought the other half. Now, Ike obviously makes anyone good, but her high health and res really helped her out. So she just became an insane tank. I wasn't Saline missile tier. Yes, Citrine. Thank you, mean. Citrine was missile tier. We used her as a tactical nuke. She would be a pretty bad Thief. She doesn't have speed, she doesn't have fizz, so she's just gonna fizzle on out there. Then Clan actually is pretty good on Thief because he actually has decent strength growth and speed, so he would be decent. Diamant actually should also be decent because he has good build, strength, and speed, so he wouldn't be bad on Thief. It would help. It would fix his speed. He has like average speed. It'd make him fast and would give him build, which would be good. What else do we have here? We have all these emblems that are always in the way. Etier on Thief. This would probably be better than Alfred. It fixes her speed and dex issues, and she can leverage her strength, but it doesn't fix her speed so much that she's very fast. She's just like average speed on Thief, which is kind of a problem. She'll be like 30 or like 45-ish, 50 speed maybe, whereas everyone else will be like 70, so pretty huge difference. You're talking about like a difference of 6 speed over 30 level ups or more, or worse, really. Fagato on Thief should be quite good. He has decent strength and strength growth, build, and speed growth, and he has decent bases. They're not the best, but they're pretty good, so he probably would be pretty good on Thief. What else? We got Fram. Fram Thief somehow was cracked. I think it's her avoid passive plus avoid stacking with a Leer. These three completely carried my Thief only run, and she was able to just avoid tank off of her passive next to a Leer with like an avoid engraving really easily because it's just all avoid stacking and she's fast. So she was almost never dying to anything and enemies just couldn't hit her, and her and a Leer could just sit in positions and just kill half the map. So these put in the most work in this run for sure. So I kind of have to say she's like S tier. Maybe she isn't though. You decide. All right, Gold Mary on Thief. I didn't really get to try her out too much, but her strength growth is just average and her speed growth is low. So if we're just going by strength and speed and her bases, her base speed is good. She could be around like here. She's definitely, she's probably like low A. She probably would be decent at it, honestly. I would have to test it further, but well, what's her base speed growth? Her base speed's like 20. What's her speed growth? We have to look this up. We have to know. I want to say it's like 25. How good is my memory? It is. It's 25 exactly. So she would be 40% speed growth. But with 20 base speed, you're kind of already close. Level up 10 times, your 24 speed. Though I think when she switches classes, she gets faster. I could be wrong on that. I'd have to check it. I actually could check it by checking the game. Let's put her in high B tier for now, just to be safe. All right, Hort Thief. I ran Erica on her, and that carried her damage for sure. But she is fast, so I'll put her in high B tier. Ivy Thief, it does help her speed, and she for some reason does have strength, so she actually might unironically be a good thief somehow. She might actually be able to pull it off because she has strength growth, build, bulk, and enough speed that with speed modifiers she should be okay. Her speed I think is like 30. Ivy, oh, it's actually 40. So she'd be 55% speed growth with 10% build, so her build will never be an issue. Which doesn't really matter on Thief, but it could be. Could be an issue. What else? Jade. I did use a Jade Thief, and I would say it's like B tier. She was solid on it, but her speed was an issue often. She only died on chapter 22 because I was in a bad position that was hard to resolve without letting her die. And I didn't want to waste pulses because I was like 70% through it, and it was like a 2-hour mission, like I was 2 hours into it. So I just let her die, but she did perform pretty well, but definitely not as good as these, funny enough. So it's hard to say. Maybe she's low A, I don't know. She did have Lynn the whole time though, so like you just take any unit with like good strength and just hand them Lynn and they'll just be able to double things. So hard to say if that was her own performance or whatever. Jean on Thief, not so sure about this. Maybe it's around like Anna's level. We'll just say that. I haven't tested it, but we can just say that. But she's a garage. Wait, what? She's a garage. All right. Kagetsu on Thief should be like here. He should be better than these because he has similar stats to Chloe, but just more strength. And I don't know. I think his health is similar to his health growth. 60%. So Chloe does have, what is it? Chloe's health is 75. So Chloe does have 15% more health growth than him and 5% more speed. But his base speed is high, so usually their speed is kind of the same. He does have high, his real thing, their strength growth is similar, but his base strength is high. So even though he's only 5% more strength growth, he'll still have like +5 damage on her or something like that. So he would just out-damage her. She might slightly out-tank him, but I think his defense growth is way higher. Yeah, 40% versus her 30. Res growth is the same. His luck is better too. Her passive increases her damage, but his passive increases his hits, so both are kind of negligible. Hard to say. He definitely would be better. It's just he has high stats. It's hard to get around. Lapis on Thief, I would say is like high A tier. Kind of Lapis is kind of like a weaker Chloe in terms of like durability, similar speed. I think less build. I think like similar strength. So it would be like a Chloe but less tanky, and it should be pretty good. Linden Thief. I don't really use him enough. I'll just put him in mid B tier. He could go for crit shenanigans because his passive's really good. So if you get him doubling, he could get pretty high crit rates on like some of these weapons. But obviously if you want to run like Peshkats, that's like a higher ranked weapon, so he won't really leverage his passive. But him on, actually, you know what? Let's put him in A tier, because him on Steel Dagger with even like a crit plus 10 engraving, that's base crit 20, then with his passive, that's like, it's like what, plus 20 crit more? So it's like 40 crit without even like a dedicated crit engraving. So he could be rolling crits off of his passive at like 40 to 50% trigger rate just by existing. So that could be quite good, actually. As for strength growth, though, maybe that's an issue for him. Let's see. I don't know what his base strength is, because usually people run him on Lindsay, probably low base strength. That's what I was just thinking. Low base strength. Let's see. Linden. He does have 25% strength growth, which is something. But his base strength could be an issue, so maybe I'll put him in low A. He might be like B tier on it. Louis would be similar to Jade. If you handed him Lin especially, they would be decent, maybe A tier. Mavier, reporting for duty. His availability is kind of bad, so I'm just going to put him in mid B. Otherwise, he's fine. He would be decent. Marin. It could just be the emblem I ran, but I feel like she's around here. She's Kagetsu with slightly less strength. Maybe if she was running Ike and she was running Roy, I would have different opinions on them. What's Marin's? Oh, what are her like defensive growths and stuff? Because that does matter, because you get hit on Thief. Like you do have to tank hits, especially if you're on an Ike tank. So Marin, let's see, 30% res and defense. That's decent. She's basically like Chloe. She's almost exactly like Chloe. Like these three units are so similar that they're basically the same unit that you get with at different points in time slightly. But she probably could be better than O'Lear. Well, actually, no. Engage Plus was insane as hell. Get out of here. Get wrecked, scrubs. O'Lear is the best. Engage Plus, because that's where Thief struggles the most, is endgame. So, like, if you have Engage Plus by default, plus whatever emblem ring you're on, you can choose which one you want. The Avoid Plus on it was really brain dead, and it bypasses the Mystic Avoid ignoring, like, mechanic. So this is actually pretty high value. And then this Avoid plus 10 plus this, I kind of feel like these are better because of that. Because they can just be unhittable to everything, which any other Thief can't be. And Fram also gets, so like Fram would get Avoid plus 30 by being next to O'Lear, and give O'Lear Avoid plus 30. So I think this is the most brain dead Avoid tank. Like the Engage Plus is actually really insane. And completely won maps for me, so it's kind of hard to ignore that, especially in Thief only run. And the Avoid plus 30 on both of these is literally what carried a lot of positions, so higher stats would not matter when you just cannot die. So, Pandreo on Thief. He should be here, or no. What about his strength? His strength, though. Alright, Pandreo, 5% strength growth. That's gonna hurt. I'll put him in low S. He can easily hit avoid tanking thresholds because of his passive. Similar to how these can with the Engage Plus and her passive. But his strength, though, he might be like high A or low A. He would need serious damage fixing, and most of the damage would be coming from like Erica or something. It could be good with Erica, I don't know. It could be good enough with Erica, with the Gentility damage, the Bravery damage really, and then the Lunar Brace damage. But on enemy phase, it would be like really low chip damage and probably suck. But on player phase, it'd be decent damage, so it's hard to say. Because he's such a good magical unit, but his strength is bad and his strength growth is bad. Panette on Thief, so if you run her on, I would say if you run her on Lin Thief, she would be really good, because she has like the highest strength in the game, next to Kagetsu. Well, actually, I think they're tied. If you switch them onto the same class, I think it's the same. If she needs Lin, she can't be an S tier, sorry. If you need a thing specifically to speed fix you, and you don't bring some unique thing to the table, and that's all you can run, like I feel like these could run a bunch of different things and be fine, and she would just need like serious speed fixing to getting the doubling thresholds, but her strength would be good. Risotto, I feel like would be middle of the pack B. Strength growth is great. Base speed is decent. Speed growth is great, but you have to invest in him. Probably similar to Gold Mary. Sadal on Thief was about here. Maybe a little bit higher because of the utility he brings from his heal, which was kind of nice. Saphir. Saphir was surprisingly good. I would say she's high A at minimum. She was very tanky. And she was on Corrin, which doesn't even really improve tanking stats aside from res. I mean, the extra health just makes it so it's harder for you to die, but it doesn't reduce incoming damage, so... And the things hit, you know, way harder in endgame maps. She really performed well, and she almost never died. She tanked. I feel like she was almost like a second Chloe at times. And she didn't really die much. Maybe she is an S, I don't know. I don't want to put her in S, but... Tamara on Thief. Tamara actually has bad stats, but her class is great. So I'll put her in like C tier. On Thief, I don't think she has it. Well, actually, she's at least fast. I can put her in B tier. These aren't fast. She's at least fast, so that bumps her up. Maybe she's closer to these. I think that's fair. She's like these. This can get good. This has good bases. She's fast, so that's pretty decent. Vander on Thief. I think his speed just holds him back. I'll put him in Dorcas with his boy, the Cooking Men. Veil on Thief. I would say she was like mid A tier. She was good. The magical dagger was great when I finally got it. I wish I had it earlier. It did help with armors to some degree. The main thing that helped with armors was just like bonus damage stacking, lunar brace, and gentility damage, but whatever. the veilness. She unveiled the dagger for us, so we got to get a cool glimpse. That. Alright, and then Yunaka in a Thief only run. Or on Thief. Honestly, I think she's like here. Maybe here. I'll put her in low A. Maybe above Linden. Yunaka is good on Thief generally because she has res and some speed and decent strength growth. So if you just hand her the damage fixing tools and a little bit of speed fixing, she usually can double and performs well. And unlike Zelkov, who gets one-shot by magic constantly, she usually has enough res to shrug it off. And also long-term, she has better speed growth than him, so even though he has higher base, she usually passes him. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it's accurate. Alright, Zelkov, I feel like he's like high B tier on Thief. He's a decent unit. He's really good immediately, but then I feel like his speed falling off is an issue. His strength growth is decent, if I recall correctly. I think it's like 30 something. Zelkov, yeah, 35%, and his speed is 35%. So on Thief, I think he's 50% speed growth. He has high build, but it doesn't matter on Thief. I feel like he would be good on like Griffin or something. Kind of want to try that, because on Griffin it gives him 55 speed and then 45 strength, which should be good enough. And then he has build growth though, and decent base build, so he could go for like doubling on like power builds or something. Let me zoom out. Yeah, it's fine. All right, DLCs. I don't really like them. Nell though, I know some people give me pushback on these. Celestia is basically like a faster Ivy. Her base class is like a mage knight that flies. So generally wherever you rank Ivy, she can go or higher. I don't know about her strength growth though, because growths matter. So assuming you're running these things, these DLC boys, so Celestia, 35 strength growth and 50 speed growth. Honestly, that's pretty based. She would probably be at least up here, maybe here. She's DLC though. Gregory, he's usually pretty similar to Citrine, except, or no, he's 50 magic. He usually wants hit fixed. He's very slow. I'll just put him next to Citrine. Or no, hold on, he's 30 strength. He's 30 strength. Yeah, let's put him in D tier, why not? Madeline, she's really high strength, but her accuracy is really terrible. 50% strength growth, so she has the highest strength growth, which is 15% speed, so even if you hand her Lyn, it literally might not be enough. So we'll put her in like the C tier, below Alchrist. Ironically, Yunaka says she's not been good fighting magic while she has the good res stat. Problem with Celestia is you have to beat the Fel Xenologue. That is a problem with it, to be honest. Alright, what else do we got? Oh, I skipped those. Alright. Now Nell has similar growths to Lapis, actually, but her bases are good. So she's like 30% strength, 45 speed, 10% build. She's usually fast enough to double most things, but she's kind of like the above average speed units. I'll put her in B tier. Rafal, he has good strength. He's similar to a Panette archetype. He also has like the crit passive. So he's very much like Panette. I guess he would be good at this, assuming, I don't know what his base is. I'll put him in B tier, I don't know. I don't know what his bases are. I'm not gonna look him up, there's not enough time. We don't have time for DLC, really. All right, then Cool Mavier. Well, he has Cool Mavier, so he has to at least be above normal Mavier. So there's Cool Mavier. So here's our Thief tier list. Let's see, let's zoom in maybe. No, the formatting's weird. All right, so here's our Thief tier list. Overall, most of the units that are fast will do well in Thief because you can damage fix it with Lunar Brace, with Bravery damage, with certain emblems. Like if you use Roy, you're +6 strength at all times, which is +6 damage. And then if you engage, you're like +2 to 3 more. So just by virtue of using Roy, you're basically giving yourself a kind of pseudo dagger power. Ike gives you +4 strength, so that's +8 damage and doubling. That matters. And then also, obviously when you start getting poison stacks out, assuming you're running a bunch of Thieves, then you start scaling your damage. Zell, the only issue is DLC is not bad. Zell's decent as well. Rest of love issues. Yeah, I think a lot of them have like some serious problems. But here's my Thief tier list. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.